Yeah. Kez played for some.
Will it be the experienced Yarrawonga Pigeons or the newcomers
I think
and the Wodonga Raiders
I think
juggernaut?
I've pretty much written that word for word in there at some point. Good afternoon. You're tuning into O&M Live Netball, kindly brought to you by McRae Motors. I'm Rhiannon Harris. It's preliminary final day. The winner of today to take on the Lavington Panthers in next weekend's grand final. Will it be the experienced Yarrawonga Pigeons or the newcomers and young Wodonga Raiders outfit? Joining me in commentary today, Tamara Matthews. Welcome.
Thanks, Ree. The penultimate round or game of the year. I can't believe we're here. And it is a cracking day, Ree.
Cracking day. I just made the comment before that I'm kind of glad I'm not running around out there because it's a little bit too warm for me all of a sudden.
We've got the best seat in the house, I think, Ree.
I think we do, although Trav's a little bit of higher vision from up there.
Yeah, he just needs a little shelter.
Possibly even better. And jumping on board with us again today a little bit later will be Liv Lespina. But to start our broadcast, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we broadcast from today, the Yorta people, paying our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and extending this respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today and tuning in to the stream at any point. It is the last chance for either team to make this year's grand final, and it's so often said across multiple sports that the preliminary final is the hardest game to win.
It is, and I think, probably provides just as much heartbreak sometimes as the grand final. It's your opportunity that goes missing, isn't it? And we've been there, and it hurts, doesn't it, Ree?
Still hurts. Yarrawonga, 2 goals short of the Panthers last weekend in a pretty error-filled game. Many forced errors, many unforced errors. I think for them today, they'll be looking to really settle. Where do you think they need to improve?
For Yarrawonga, I think they need to start strong. We saw them against Raiders early in the season, and they were slow to start, and they had to get themselves back into the game. Some of their connections in attack were a bit disjointed last week, and I think partly that was due to some different combinations that came into the court, and I'm sure they would have worked on that at training. They've got a lot of experience there. They'll be looking to that to really bring them into the game. They've got Emily McNamara on the bench. They'll be looking to use their bench if the heat starts to affect players. And they've got great experience on that bench. So I know that they will rely on that. Annalise Grinter's on the bench. So they've got some great depth and experience that can come on. But I think they'll have to not get caught up into the pace that Raiders will possibly want to play with and really play their own style of netball. They can play fast, but I think they'll also need to play at their own pace.
Absolutely. And the Raiders, the last time they were in A-grade finals we've spoken about before was in 2004. They've won 2 elimination finals on the trot. And as M. Stewart summed it up beautifully at the end of last week, they really have nothing to lose.
Absolutely nothing. It's the juggernaut that keeps on rolling. A bit like the Carlton Football Club, really, aren't they, some would say. But, you know, credit to them. They're a young side. They're an experienced side when it comes to netball. You know, it might not be A-grade Ovens and Murray netball, but it's certainly they've got a lot of netball experience between them. They're exceptionally well coached. Jodie has huge amount of coaching experience. She's a really smart coach, one of the elite coaches in our league, and she has them well drilled, and they will be experienced enough that they will have rehearsed certain situations should this game come down to, a draw, extra time, that sort of thing, as we've seen in the Myrtleford and the Wangaratta games. They knew what to do when the game got tight. So I would expect that that they will be ready for any situation, and they will come. They're playing on emotion. They're going to have a huge crowd, home court advantage, and they've got nothing to lose.
Talking about the crowd, just for the last 2 games that were played side by side, the under-17s and the C-grade, I walked in and the crowd was massive between both courts, and apparently it had kind of cleared out a little bit from the previous game, the early time slot today as well. Huge crowd
in for the 15s, which saw a draw and extra time. And look, I have to say the crowds at all our finals has just been exceptional, and it has been backed up with some really phenomenal games. So it's a real credit to all our players and our clubs, but all our supporters who've come out and watched.
And nice to see a variety of clubs on show as well. We've just seen Myrtleford take a cracking win over North Albury. They too have come through every elimination final, going into extra time against Wangaratta last week. So another classic story. Last weekend's results, Yarrawonga lost to Lavington by 2 goals, 43-45. I went through the stats yesterday, and the biggest surprise for me, they had 62 attempts on goal to Lavington's only 50. And we did comment that Yarrawonga really managed to slow down the feed into Christine, and she wasn't having as much dominance that she could, but particularly Liv Sanson, she really moved well. She only put up 6 goals, but she was 6 from 6, which is fantastic. Christine still shot 39 from 44, so exceptional stats. But the fact that Yarrawonga actually had so much ball in comparison going into their attack end just shows how many errors were made on court.
Absolutely. And in the first quarter, Liv was getting most of the goals early. I think she really put up those first lot of goals. I thought Hannah Symes did an outstanding job on Christine. It was the most uncomfortable we've seen Christine, and probably the most amount of errors we've seen her and their attack end make in getting the ball to her. There was a lot of balls over the baseline and out the sideline, and that was due to that defensive pressure that came from Yarrawonga. You know, I would almost say that in some ways Yarra probably lost that game rather than Lavington won it. And that's no disrespect to Lavington. They have done a phenomenal job in getting there. But when you look at those attempts, they had a lot of ball. In the last probably 2 minutes, the ball went into their attacking almost goal ring probably 4 or 5 times. They had opportunities to score and get back level and have an opportunity to take that game, and they weren't able to capitalise. So they will know they had their opportunity and their chances, and they didn't make the most of it. And I have no doubt that today they'll be looking to rectify that too.
Absolutely. A nice warm welcome, literally. And figuratively to you. Liv Lispini, you've just come back from C grade. What a win.
So good. I may have forgotten I had to be here, so I was too busy celebrating. And someone's like, oh, the A grade's about done. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got to go.
Welcome.
But yes, thank you for having me. It was very exciting to see Myrtleford win just then and get through to the grand final next year. So next week.
I hope they turn up next week.
I know.
Feels like a year away, doesn't it?
But I'm here now. I'm in the zone.
Excellent. And in the other results, Raiders had a great win over Wangaratta, and we spoke about their strong starts during the season, and that's what won them the game last week. They led from start to finish and at every break. Wangaratta did get back to even at one point, but it kind of looked like Raiders were in control for the most part. Interestingly, it was a 3-goal deficit at the end of the game. Raiders had 3 attempts more on goal than Wangaratta. So that's a very even margin in terms of for and against there on court. And it was very evenly spread. Mia Lavis, 14 from 16. Stewart, 15 from 20. Donlan chipping in 8, and likewise for the same. But interestingly, the 3 best players for the Raiders, I would absolutely agree with Zoe Prentice, Em Stewart, and Molly Goldsworthy, who, unbeknownst to me, had won a soccer premiership on Saturday, the day before. So coming off a massive high, like that's obviously a lot of adrenaline coming through, and I thought she did a really good job confusing the space in that circle, supported so well by Mackenzie House.
She did a wonderful job on Amanda Yametsky, just that body-on-body pressure, and it did explain why we did see some unusual outfits in the crowd, some people on their silly Sunday. I did wonder why they might have been there, but they were there supporting Molly. But you're right, that combination of Zoe Prentice and Molly Goldsworthy, the defensive pressure they applied and that pressure on Amanda Yametsky, and we saw Amanda on the ground quite a bit, and I think that was just a physical pressure that Molly was applying, all fair and reasonable and within play, but I just felt that Amanda didn't stand up to that when she needed to, and she went to ground a little bit too easy, and Molly seemed to get in her head a little bit and won that battle, I think, and credit to her.
We also touched on just Wangaratta really missing that rotation through the mid-court. We saw Georgia Clark swing into wing attack, which opened the space up late in that game, but just without Leah Genvy, that strike power that she provides, whether or not she's in wing defence turning ball over or in wing attack just hitting that circle with drive, was probably one of those missing links for them. But we'll touch on today's team cards, and as it stands last night from coach Laura Irvine, we will start with the Yarrawonga Pigeons. They're going to start with Maddie Allen in goal shooter, Myla Kennedy in goal attack, which I was only yesterday days old when I realised she was only 14. Yes. I thought she was 16, 17 years old. Turns out she was 13 last year when she debuted against Myrtleford up against Tina Way. So an exceptional credit to her and the confidence that Yarrawonga have in her to start today. Tilly Kennedy in wing attack, Laura Davis in centre, Emily Larissy in wing defence, Kylie Leslie in goal defence, and Hannah Symes in goalkeeper. On their bench, Laura Ryan, Laura Irvine, Sarah Moore, Emily McNamara and Annalise Grinter. A little bit of a changed lineup. The thing that I found really interesting, I think Emily Larissy really earned her starting spot in the way that she really shut down Maddie Lloyd in that second half of last week's game and just made it really hard for Maddie to get a clean feed into Christine. Yeah,
I agree. And I think Em does a lot of really good one-on-one work, but then what she also does is recognise if the ball's going in too easy, just sitting and floating at the top of the ring with her hands in the air. She's got the longest arms probably in the league, and it really does stop those quick passes going in, particularly to tall goal shooters like Christine last week.
And really, as we've spoken about, that's the only way that you can combat that is that pressure on the feed to confuse what's going in. For the Wodonga Raiders, coached by Jodie House, they remain unchanged as we've seen them start their previous 2 finals. So they will start with Taylor Donlan in goal shooter, Emily Stewart in goal attack, Blaney House in wing attack, Maggie St John through the centre with Zoe Prentice in wing defence, Mackenzie House in goal defence and Molly Goldsworthy in goalkeeper. On the bench, Mia Lavis, Shayla House, Eliza Mooney, Chloe Benson and Eliza Howard. Maggie St John, we alluded to last week, just really goes about her business quite diligently, quite quietly, but getting a few tips off the ball.
She is. She's defending really well, and I think that's an area of her game that Jodie has worked really hard on, and I think we've seen that step up really strongly in finals, especially when it's counted. She's had some really important tips in those clutch moments and been able to get the work done and combine nicely off the line, in particular off those centre passes with Zoe and with Mackenzie. And if you can apply that pressure early off a centre pass and stop that ball coming into those shooters quickly, the workload and the pressure that takes off your goalkeeper is just extraordinary, and Molly gives away a bit of height to some of these shooters, so they have to do that. They have to give her a fighting chance at getting to some of these balls.
Absolutely, and I think the battle between Laura Davis and Maggie St John will be really fantastic through the mid-court. Both very fit players, both very agile, but just find themselves in the right place at the right time a lot of the time defensively. So I think that'll be one to watch. And obviously, as we said, we'll be looking to the bench with the heat and seeing some of those rotations there. Some players on the bench for the Raiders have already lined up on court today, Eliza Mooney and Mia Lavis. So it'll be interesting if Jodie really turns to them early or if she gives them a bit of a rest and chooses to play it out with the 7 that we know as the whistle sounds for the first quarter here in this preliminary final. The winner of today's game out of the Yarrawonga Pigeons and the Wodonga Raiders to take on the Lavington Panthers in next weekend's Ovens and Murray Netball League Grand Final. Our umpires today, Narelle and Sean, and it is a Raiders centre pass to start. Time is called. Blaney House receives the first centre pass, gives back to Sister House. Swung wide to Prentice, deep into the pocket. House is off the ball. Davis has a good stab at that. It comes spilt. And was that a short pass? I think it might have been deemed, or replay.
Yeah.
So possession netball here from the Pigeons to start. Davis calls for the high ball. Maddie Allen on the move early, which is great to see her drive out of the circle. And I think that's probably the edge with Myla Kennedy in there. And we saw it with Kalisha Pell, who's not available this weekend. A shout out to Kalisha if I don't know if she'll have any service on Kokoda.
I'm not sure. Don't know what the Wi-Fi is like up there.
But that moving circle, just how instrumental Myla Kennedy was in that as she nets the first goal for Yarrawonga. So off the Raiders centre pass, it is the Pigeons centre to follow. And a great touch from House, saved by
Cartwright in the Oldham Live tent.
Leslie.
The other thing here with Yarrawonga, with Myla Kennedy, is she's going to be a touch unknown for Raiders. They probably aren't going to know a lot about how she plays.
As Tilly Kennedy manages to regain control, gives it off to Sister Myla. High ball into Allen, but just a little bit too much on it. Clever work there from Davis just to watch it. Allen sinks Yarrawonga's second goal of this first quarter.
And Allen looks up and about early. She's giving herself a bit of a clap, and that's great to see.
And we did see on the Yarrawonga socials last night a little Q&A with Maddie Allen from
Dr. Allen.
Dr. Allen, as she...
She'd have to be the most interesting person in the league. Every time I talk to her, I learn something new.
Oh, she's a phenomenal person. Yes.
Mad F1 supporter, as we've said, and that was the... what was it? Kiss, Marry and Kill, and it was 3 F1 personalities.
So it's dentist by trade, hence why she's Dr. Allen.
But the Raiders have forced the turnover here into their attack, and Stewart coming out of the circle gives to Donlan High. She's calling for the high ball, but goes front to Stewart, who can't quite get it in to start. And there's a contact call from behind from Signs, so Donlan will line up for her first attempt of the game and makes good 2-1 here on this 777 automotive scoreboard.
A bit of a team of overachievers, really. 2 doctors in the one team at Yarrawonga. I'm not sure we've seen that too often either, just quietly, as Tilly Kennedy finds Maddie Allen at the top of the circle. She's forced to reset fairly high off to Laura Davis. She draws the penalty and finds Maddie with a beautiful pass straight in under the post. And she makes no mistake. So Yarrawonga move to 3, leading Raiders 1 here.
St John gives off to Stewart. Donlan coming out on the baseline, drops it down to Stewart. Leslie really putting the pressure on. And the contact as the ball came in. Symes with a great 3 feet. Doesn't worry Donlan though, drooping that one in. 3 goals to 2 here on the 777 Automotive scoreboard. Davis looks sideways to Larissy. She's able to pull it in. Davis again, high and cross court to Kennedy. Mackenzie House really doing the hard work on Allen there, deep
Forcing
in the
wide.
pocket of that defensive third. But Raiders unable to penetrate through into that centre third. They're just on the transverse line now. Prentice opts to step on. And it's a contact from Kennedy. Davis, great contest there, outside arm, and opts for Kennedy. Davis is offline. Myla Kennedy gives off to sister Tilly Kennedy, and the high ball comes into Allen, but just not quite strong enough on the take. And the contested possessions played. So Goldsworthy to Mackenzie House, sister Blaney House.
Great ball by Prentice, finds Stewart deep in their third, forced to go a fair way back and as fine top of the circle.
As you mentioned, Liv, Larissy choosing to go offline there and just take up the space a little bit more. Symes takes a quick jump at the ball, but obstructing. We are level, 3 goals apiece here on the 777 Automotive scoreboard. St John, Stewart with the centre pass receive. Oh, and there's those hands over. Davis, quick play to Kennedy, which was in the space behind Prentice. She'd come hunting the high ball in.
Very high ball. Finds Allen.
Takes a moment, but a better rebound effort there from Maddie Allen. But
because sometimes she'll get
two,
a bit stationary on that shot, but
2 hands off.
Following that one in better.
Finding plenty of space through that midcourt. Stewart back to the line. Donlan looking for an option. Coming in deep. Setting up the hold around Hannah Symes. Both defenders taken to Donlan then. And the hard work done by the Pigeons. The turnover, though, the throw-in, the way of the Raiders. Stewart will set up really tight to the post on the opposite side from us.
Smart
the
play.
low ball. Donlan can't quite flick it through.
And right under the post there. Probably one of the most difficult shots to make.
4 goals to 3 here. We are back on centre pass. Clever defence there. That wall pressure again from Raiders. We spoke about it last week. Kennedy,
great
out in
go
the
by
pocket.
Davis to find circleage then.
And Myla Kennedy just working the penalty there through Molly Goldsworthy. And again, Maddie Allen standing up nice and strong. And the goal is good. 4 goals apiece here on the 777 Automotive scoreboard. 6 minutes played on the McRae Motors time clock.
I think if Maddie can find that holding game, but just be strong when that ball's in the air, that can go a long way rather than that moving circle.
And I think Myla Kennedy's got that great timing there. She'll read off that and either draw 2 defenders or find herself on her own.
Yeah, and hold with good space behind her. So there's less margin for error.
As the error comes up, the defensive pressure of Pigeons force the stop. Kennedy nearly having a hand in there. Stewart and House, a great double play. Stewart using the arc of the circle while Leslie was back on Donlan with the double play. But, great rebound from Symes. Nice and strong. Gives off to Leslie. Larissy, great strength.
She heard footsteps but held firm as Myla Kennedy, quick reset to the circle edge, takes a shot.
Beautiful shot.
Beautiful. That was a lovely end
she
to
turns
end.
and shoots is something to behold.
Again, for a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Looks like effortless play as Kennedy.
And look, from all reports, she's had a netball in her hand shooting goals since she could walk. Yes.
Leslie puts through the penalty. And House read that beautifully, just getting one hand onto it. And Alan, there's the hold that you spoke about, Liv, just holding nice and strong in the ball, just out in front enough to give her the edge. 6 goals to 4 here, the lead on the 777 Automotive scoreboard. It's a great lead there from House. She didn't stop until the ball was in her hands. Prentice. Leslie.
She's really going strongly with Em Stewart and applying that pressure, forcing her high. as we see the error come there.
And
Forced to go backwards.
clever work from Tilly Kennedy there, because she could have had a stab and pulled that in, but recognised that it was going to be a little bit further down court if she didn't. And again, the give and go with Kylie Leslie on the line. Allen moving, gives off to Davis and just positions for the hold. Juggles it, flicks it back.
Yarrawonga finding a fair bit of space in their attack end, aren't they? They seem to be... Raiders going with that one-on-one defence, allowing them to do that. As Myla Kennedy puts another one on the board for Yarrawonga. They move to 7, leading Raiders 4. Yarrawonga send us an opportunity to take a 4-goal lead here if they can convert. Forced to go back to Leslie. Double play from Davis. Forced to go back again. Well covered there by M. Stewart. Tilly Kennedy, some great double play.
Goldsworthy really read that well and opted to not play. Oh, Prentice, again, that offline, just a hand to it. Kennedy, great work, and well done from Laura Davis there, just to tell her to shuffle back an extra couple of centimetres without the defender. 8 goals to 4 here on the 777 automotive scoreboard.
Yarra just seemed to have a lead at every second in that attack, and there's a 1-second option, a 2-second option.
We didn't see last week.
Exactly.
It was very clunky.
Their timing is much better this week, isn't it, in their attack on the ball.
Donlan leading up through that centre channel at the top of the circle. Leslie goes for the down ball, but it's a contact outside the circle first. Stewart steps in front of Stewart, and a clever ball there from Stewart out of the hands of Symes. Connects to goal. 8 goals to 5 here on the 777 automotive scoreboard. There's a time for a bib. And we're going to go back to restart the centre pass. Breaking call on the line. Just a little bit hard when it's been a restart in play. Davis gives back to the line. And great defence there from the Raiders. They split the circle and the defenders doing a great job to slow the play down. The House sisters teaming up again. St John to House, and she gives it off deep in the pocket. Davis getting a hand to it. Taylor Donlan's really having to come out of that circle a little bit, probably moving a little bit more.
And we saw Hannah Symes do that to Christina Gucci last week, didn't we? Just sitting off for enough, forcing her to move and not get comfortable on the body as Donlan takes the shot and makes no mistake.
And
taking
I think
Raiders
Hannah's positioning just confuses the mid-quarters that little bit more.
Yeah, and because they know she likes to go for the hunt too.
And going for the hunt, Tilly Kennedy came offline then to get her hand on ball.
She just always creates that doubt, that level of doubt.
To House, Stewart. And we can see Leslie and Symes just really working, going from one-on-one to double play. And that's probably one of Kylie Leslie's strengths in the circle, as well as M. Stewart. Beautiful goal from her. We are back to 1. 8 goals played, 7 here. Nearly 11 minutes played in this first quarter. Leslie, Davis, Kennedy to Allen coming. Great.
Lucky she's got long arms. Pulls that in.
And it goes in, and she holds again beautifully. And a great goal there from Maddie Allen takes them back out to 2. 9 goals, plays 7 here. St John, Stewart, given every inch on the line there. Leslie chose to drop back. Great drive from St John in front of Davis.
Donlan, the hold, calling for the ball, and eventually gets it. A strong hold, might have copped a whack on the head, I think, in play there. Umpire Sean saw that eventually and takes a shot and makes no mistake. So 8 plays 7 here. Yarrawonga centre pass. Kennedy strong off the line.
And Davis all alone.
Great second drive there, and sees Allen over the back. Great pass. She makes no mistake.
Certainly has her eye in to start this first quarter, Maddie Allen, with Raiders with their centre pass. Forced to go back again. House to Prentice to House. Hands before the call there for Larissy, getting a great 3 feet. Symes really contesting the ball there.
Good strength by Donlan to go at that again and pull that in.
And that's what Raiders probably need to do, is just get that ball in a little bit quicker. Once they start to play around with it, it's allowing Kylie and Hannah to set up.
Yeah, you're right.
Myla Kennedy. Goldsworthy.
Fly.
Beautiful. And that's that little bit of an early release. That would have been a great balk, and Allen would have been home alone. Sometimes
you can do it, I can do it too, she says.
Replicates at the other end. Raiders on the sideline. The hands of House to Donlan outside of the circle. Gives the high ball into Stewart. Leslie contests. And we are level, 10 goals apiece here on the 777 automotive scoreboard. St John to House. Long ball to Stewart. Back to House. The defensive pressure, every Pigeons player just really...
by House to Stewart and looking in and delivering to Donlan. As you said, Liv, just looking to do that a little bit quicker and more often, I think, because there'll be times where Taylor Donlan will draw that contact.
Opts for the pass to Stewart. Raiders, the 1-goal lead here, 11 plays 10. Into the final 2 minutes of this first quarter. Space opens up, high ball into Allen.
Speaking of quick releases, Tilly Kennedy turning and releasing, but not dropping for Allen. So Raiders an opportunity to get the ball back here.
St John finds House in that centre channel, just really driving through strong. Again, hands of Larissy nearly getting the touch. Stewart forced to go back off the circle edge. St John coming through is Donlan. High ball to Stewart. Leslie has a go at it, but not quite enough. And M. Stewart, ever relaxed, takes them out to 12, leading the Pigeons 10.
It's a great matchup, M. Stewart and Kylie Leslie, both fantastic athletes, aren't they? As House looks to go back
Kennedy.
to sister, but Myla coming through. But it will be a Raiders throw-in, goal third. So
into the final minute of this first quarter. Davis with the hands over pressure. House to Donlan. Quick release to Stewart. And it doesn't quite drop. So can the Pigeons here go end-to-end and convert? Larissy coming through. Leslie to Kennedy, recognising she was on her own as Prentice went hunting. Kennedy to Allen. Oh, Miley Kennedy. Beautiful take. Can it be the Raiders that convert here? No, they can't. There is 15 seconds left in this first quarter. Symes steps up to the baseline. Larissy. Symes. Back to Symes again. Leslie to Davis as the siren goes for quarter time. It is 12 goals. The Raiders leading the Pigeons 10 in this preliminary final. This is O&M Live Netball. We will be back after the break for the second quarter. And on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where students come first. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a crumbed barramundi fillet served with chips and dill hollandaise from just $22. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SS&A.
Recognise this face? I've been in more beer ads than anyone else, and all I'm told to do is smile, sip and laugh a bit.
0.0% alcohol?
This changes everything.
I can swim! I can upgrade heavy machinery!
I can actually drive!
Onwards, beer drinkers!
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between. Manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
At 2AY, we're your home of live sport. Every weekend, we bring you the best live broadcasts of the Ovens and Murray football and netball. Listen this weekend on your radio or the 2AY app.
Oh, I've got the dodgy.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball, brought to you by McRae Motors. The preliminary final, Raiders going into quarter time with a 2-goal advantage over the Pigeons. A couple of changes, wholesale changes in the Pigeons lineup. Laura Irvine, their coach, coming in onto centre. Maddie Allen has previously been in goal shooter, gone out to goal attack, and Sarah Moore has taken the court in goal shooter. Irvine put under pressure early with the long ball. Allen pulling that in nicely in front of House.
And I think for Yarrawonga, just conscious of the heat and so utilising their bench. As Moore, bang, goes the long bomb and makes no mistake. So Sarah's here to play.
Raiders, no changes on their court. Oh, and Maddie Allen, a great defensive turnover there. Clever tip to Moore. Kennedy gives off to Irvine, top of the circle. Small, just clever. And we are back to even, 12 goals apiece here on the McRae Motors scoreboard. And Irvine came on in the last quarter of last week's game in her 200th A-grade game, and I thought it was pretty quiet for Laura's standards, but remembering too, she's coming back from that third pregnancy as well, but she's already...
And to come on at three-quarter time in a game like that, it's pretty tricky as well.
Oh, absolutely. But already finding that connection with Moore and
but I
Moore.
just think brings that composure.
Yeah.
At the smart decision making, which is also what you need.
Oh, Moore did well to tap that in then, and it looked like it was going to then bounce off Goldsworthy out, but she managed to tap it back to a team member, and Irvine gets it out of play. St John to the House sisters. Larissy having a stab at it from behind, but a contact instead. St John. And Symes. And it's an offside call. That was really great from Symes then, just really hedging the space and coming off the body in front of Donlan. Larissy again getting a hand in there, but good positioning from House to have that front position. The split of the defenders. Stewart can't quite.
Great rebound by
connect to
Donlan.
goal.
Good strength in the air. She makes no mistake there. Raiders go to 13, leading Yarrawonga here on the McRae Motors scoreboard. Raiders with the centre pass, so an opportunity here to go another one ahead as Blaney House drives strongly and again tries to find circle edge, draws the penalty.
Irvine stood out of play.
And that's that give and go and that strong second drive that she needs to do to try and find circle edge.
Leaving a little bit early there, Irvine, so the penalty was reset. Donlan asking for the hold and the pressure of Symes just putting doubt in Donlan's mind as to whether or not the feed was heading in her direction.
Pigeons hugging the sideline there, opt to go back to Larissy, try and centre it to Leslie, back to Larissy. Looking down court, eventually find Kennedy in the backspace, goes top to Moore, she swings it out and they find Allen under the post with a smart pass by Tilly Kennedy. So
That is a little bit more of the ball movement of Yarrawonga that we are used to seeing.
Yeah, that quick release, some fancy little lookaways there thrown into the mix as Allen finds Kennedy deep in that pocket. Beautiful backspace pass to Moore.
Oh, and clever rebound there from Moore.
They're now just giving the Raiders defenders a bit more to think about.
Yep.
As Moore
and
connects.
Tilly Kennedy's timing to drop into that pocket and that backspace is exceptional. She gets that ball quite comfortably there.
I think Prentice has been doing such a great job with that first phase, but then going hunting on the second phase, which is allowing that little bit more space as we see her team up with St John to get the ball into this attack end. The obstruction call has gone first. St John to House. Oh, the hands from Irvine.
Not sure that was 3 feet.
A little bit too close. It's a split circle again of the defenders and a footwork call. So the long ball to Allen.
Pigeons moving it quick. So Allen quickly receiving the ball on that transverse line. Raiders doing well to get back into play there because Yarrawonga had that ball down quickly.
Great drive from Allen. Settling in nicely. 2 goals the lead here to the Pigeons. 15 play 13 on the Macrae Motors scoreboard. 4.5 minutes have been played in this second quarter. Irvine to Kennedy. Moore's out on that side as well, just directing traffic, and Kennedy finds the top and finds Moore directly under the circle.
Home alone.
16 plays 13 here. Raiders centre pass to come. Larissy really stopping the drive of House on that centre pass. St John and Mackenzie House teaming up nicely, and again just the ball going behind where the play is. So Pigeons on the attack again. Symes to Leslie, clever play there, drew Stewart forwards.
Sorry, Raiders were so strong last week, was their defensive pressure in transition, and they just need to make sure that they've got that game still today, because it'll go a long way slowing Yarrawonga's attack down.
Absolutely. And we did speak about that they like to play that fast pace, but that potentially that Yarrawonga would slow that down. So being able to adjust to that and getting it back on their terms is so important, as Zoe Prentice does her best to do that. House. St John to House. Stewart, great hands over from Kylie Leslie there. Quite a few passes here for the Raiders, trying to penetrate just this defensive pressure of the Pigeons. Irvine to Stewart, using a triangle. Clever positioning there from Donlan, not letting Symes any space to get around, and a beautiful mid-range shot from Taylor Donlan, keeping the Raiders in touch. 16 plays 14 here. Second quarter, thanks to Cavalier Holmes. Great drive from Moore.
Opts to go back to Irvine, or forced to go back. Tilly Kennedy coming out. Allen out of the circle. Moore in, working her feet under the post and find space.
Nice to see Moore's entry onto court. Last week we were a little bit concerned when she didn't come back on after calling time very early in that first quarter against the Panthers. Blaney House giving back to sister Mackenzie House. St John to Stewart coming out of the circle. Lots of space behind Donlan then, but Leslie was just on her toes enough to confuse the space. The ball slowed down.
And good hold by Donlan in that front space.
17 plays 15 here on the Macrae Motors scoreboard. Kennedy to Moore, really deep in that pocket is the drive from Irvine. Moore turns, bounces over. Well done from Molly Goldsworthy then, just keeping Maddie Allen out of any kind of rebounding position. And
great drive
quick
by
transition.
Prentice. Confused. I think she thought Blaney House was there. She was popped out of the space. So Yarrawonga with the ball, quickly under post. Moore out of range, opts to go to Tilly Kennedy, and she draws the defender and pops that ball smartly over to Allen.
Who jumps too early for the rebound there, and Goldsworthy can't get 2 hands on it. Smart experience. Experience play from Sarah Moore. 18 plays 15 here on the Macrae Motors scoreboard. 8 minutes of this second quarter have gone, and St John, great footwork there to change direction. Well done to flick that in but it went to a Pigeons player. So Irvine has to go back to Symes for the space. Kennedy coming through really beautifully and quick. Irvine to Allen, and the contested possession from House. She's not letting Allen have much space through that line, and again, just unforced error there from the Raiders. Too much on it.
Yeah, and she got herself on the inside of the play there, allowed her to get her hand to that. And
Leslie Irvine getting in front of St John, but it goes to Larissy Kennedy to Moore out at the top of the circle. 1 second release puts Kennedy nice and deep in the pocket. Oh,
yeah, Irvine looked to go to Kennedy, but she was covered there by Prentice. So force the held ball. Prentice has to go sideways to House, but re-offers. And then again down the court.
So House a little bit too early there on the lead and nearly had the same incident. Symes went fishing.
Good vision by St John to see Donnellan or home alone.
Great finish.
Raiders moved to 16, trailing Yarrawonga 18 here on the McRae Motors scoreboard. Second quarter action brought to you by Cavalier Homes. How long we gone this quarter, Ree?
9 minutes and 20 seconds, so we're over halfway in this second quarter. Raiders have just done well to stop the run, and the attacking play of the Pigeons isn't looking as smooth as it did to start.
Yeah, they started
this second
strong.
quarter.
This is the pressure
Allen
that
coming
they had
through.
last week.
Yeah, the defensive pressure's lifted again, hasn't it? So Yarrawonga were finding quite a bit of space early. Kennedy taps the ball, but no one home.
Contact. Allen couldn't quite get the second arm up to take the ball. Moore asking for the second ball again, and possession goes the way of the Raiders.
Yeah, House did well to get around and saw that reset ball coming.
Coaching-wise, Liv, what are you thinking?
I feel bad for Yarrawonga because they've done so well, and then there's a potential of bringing Mia Lavis on the courts. Like you get through one hurdle and then there might be another hurdle that you've got to cross.
Oh, damn.
I definitely think this quarter Yarrawonga look more balanced and settled, particularly in their attack end. I think Raiders have made a few unforced errors, but really the matchups on court, they're doing really well. So
and
it's
kept
a really
themselves
tricky
in
one.
the game, isn't it? 18 plays 17 here on the McRae Motors
And it might
scoreboard.
just come down to play management, how players feeling in the heat.
Yeah.
It is a hot day, and do they need some fresh legs now? Do they rest them third, knowing that if it's tight in the fourth, they're going to have to bring players on then? So
yeah, and as we know, this time of the year, we're not used to this kind of heat either, as Donlan can't quite drop that one. Symes and Larissy with the double play cross court. Irvine to Leslie. They were both there. So again, just that unforced
we haven't
error.
seen Laura Ryan yet for Yarrawonga, so will she come into the game, give Em Larissy a rest?
Yeah.
In wing
Davis
defence?
with some fresh legs through the centre court as well, just after having a bit of a rest. I mean, she can run all day, as Stewart hasn't had too many attempts on goal this quarter yet and can't quite connect, but the obstruction call has come first. So Symes stood out of play. Leslie has a stab at it. And Donlan finishes it. So we're back to even. 18 goals apiece here on the McRae Motors scoreboard.
And it's difficult. I don't know if you bring Mia in. I mean, I think Kylie and Hannah probably play a moving circle very well. So you run the risk there, don't you?
Oh, more. Just can't quite get that one to trickle in. So the Raiders, the throw in from the baseline. Goldsworthy, high ball to House, and she was very off balance. But well done to Blaney House to recognise that that ball wasn't going. Oh, and Symes. Oh, unlucky there. She came through, and Stewart just had her body.
Because I think if you keep Taylor on, even it's a bit more stationary, but it keeps Hannah maybe a little bit more accountable to her and a bit more one-on-one, even though they do sort of switch up and rotate.
As we see her just really using the arc of the circle there beautifully, Taylor Donlan, and the space for Stewart, but short was the shot, so Larissy.
But again, it depends on how they're feeling. If you bring Mia in, her work rate's really high, so I guess that alleviates
Allen
Stewart's workload and maybe takes the pressure on her
needs
to do
to
so
come
much
again.
Too.
Kennedy. Moore steps up and connects back to one. The lead to the Pigeons, 19 plays, 18.
But Moore certainly moving well, not looking like she's carrying the
I think that combination with Maddie and goal attack, probably wouldn't be the traditional option you go, but it's worked really well.
Yeah.
And
They
again,
sometimes will swing to that for a quarter.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's working very
and
well.
again, maybe that is player management after that injury to Sayres last weekend as Symes are...
Or just the heat. Sarah's opted to put in a request. May I please?
And the
place
ball
it?
drops for Donlan, 19 goals apiece here on the McRae Motors scoreboard.
I did say to Sarah, it's hot. Play smarter, not harder.
Oh,
And
there's a
that'll be-
contest to the ball, but it's come off Raiders last. Larissy into the attacking third, and Laura Irvine's missing a bib. Just checking where the ball's going to start from. Looking through the hands of Prentice. Allen pops the high ball
it's
and
a
just
bit high for...
bit too much on that. Goldsworthy. Oh, St John all on her own. Prentice having to drive hard. And a great transition from the Raiders. Oh, Kennedy nearly coming through with the intercept. Prentice again gives off to St John, and again just cruising through is St John. The hands there of the Pigeons took two hands.
Stuart with the fumbles a little bit there.
Stewart puts the pass to Donlan. Symes can't get the right arm around, so the contact call. Donlan.
Oh, lovely goal. to
Beautiful
finish.
goal. So Raiders take the lead. 20 goals plays, 19 here in this second quarter. We have 30 seconds to play. Can the Raiders... standing still, and Symes was moving. So can it be the Pigeons to get a nice, quick last goal? Irvine finding the pocket. More three dodges. Oh, Goldsworthy did well and has done well to keep that in. 10 seconds here. Clock is ticking. Oh. Obviously a little bit of change in timing there, but that is half-time. Raiders 1 goal the lead, 20 plays 19. We'll be back after the break with the second half of this preliminary final. This is O&M Live Netball, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where students come first. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a crumbed barramundi fillet served with chips and dill hollandaise from just $22. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SS&A.
Recognise this face? I've been in more beer ads than anyone else, and all I'm told to do is smile, sip and laugh a bit.
0.0% alcohol.
This changes everything.
I can swim! I can upgrade heavy machinery! I can actually drive! Onward, beer drinkers!
Rewrite the rules. Carlton 0.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between. Manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
2AY, we're your home of live sport. Every weekend we bring you the best live broadcasts of the Ovens and Murray football and netball. Listen this weekend on your radio or the 2AY app.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball, the preliminary final, the Yarrawonga Pigeons. Trailing the Raiders still at halftime, but by 1 goal. It was an explosive start for the Pigeons to start that second quarter, and they got up by as much as 3, and it looked like they were well on their way, but Raiders just chipped away, upped the defensive pressure a little bit and caused a few unforced turnovers.
Yeah, credit to Raiders. They it definitely looked like Yarrawonga had really strong momentum there in the first half of that quarter, but they hung in there, and then to lead by a goal at half-time is certainly a confidence booster.
Absolutely. Not necessarily that they had momentum, but they just chipped and grinded and converted some crucial turnovers. Time is called, and we can see a couple of changes on court. Laura Davis has re-entered the court into centre. Laura Ryan has gone into wing defence, sending Emily Larissy and Laura Irvine to the bench for a rest, but it's Sarah Moore to get us underway in this third quarter. Thanks to McRae Motors, we are back to even 20 goals apiece. For the Raiders, they've opted for no changes again. So Jodie House putting confidence in the 7 that started this game and have chipped away so far to really keep the momentum going, whether or not we see a bit of a change during the quarter. Time will tell. The double pressure there on Donlan forces the ball out of court. Stewart cross court, cross circle to St John. The ball, high ball to Stewart. From Stewart to Donlan, I apologise, and given off to Davis. And that transition speed, Kennedy out in front. Beautiful two-stretched hand.
All finishing off
end-to-end play there from the Pigeons. Davis to Kennedy. Allen. Moore talking to Allen, saying go in.
Oh, great footwork by Moore. I find some space. I'm not sure how Davis fed that ball to her, but she managed to find.
You just can't help but smile when Sarah has the ball. It looks like something nice is going to happen.
Or she's going to pass it to someone that you're not looking at, and then you get falconed by it. Oh, so we've got a body down in back play. Ryan. Oh, great hands over from Davis at the obstruction. Comes first. Stewart uses circle edge. St John in the pocket. Oh, and well read there from Leslie. She just kept driving, and that's one of those cases you can't wait for the whistle call to come through. A lot of contested play being let go. Ryan
into the game. Great
and that transition again, finding Kennedy. Moore just giving herself enough space to move into.
And a well-weighted ball by Tilly Kennedy. Her delivery today has been spot on.
23 plays 20 here on the Cavalier Home scoreboard, and Yarra 4 goals straight to start this third quarter. Davis gives to Laura Ryan. Kennedy and Ryan. Moore. Davis. Oh, great ball into Allen there. Just giving herself enough room on the baseline. And sinking, and the crowd has just started to up. There is a massive crowd all around us. Trav's just been for a walk around the footy too and said that the crowd over at their reserves has really built house to Prentice.
Well, I think if you can't get out today, you're not serious about sport, are you? What a beautiful day. Honestly, it is. There's 9 clubs represented here today across the league.
Fantastic.
So it's just amazing. We see Stewart go to St John in the pocket and
great opening from Donlan.
Yep.
And just enough on the rebound for Stewart to connect with goal. So there it is, Raiders' first goal of this third quarter. The lead, though, the Pigeons 24 plays 21. Ryan to Davis, top of the circle. Moore just moves Goldsworthy once, twice, takes them out to 25. St John. House.
And Lavis just on the bench, standing up over there. Looks like she's warming up House, just having a little word in the ear of her. So whether or not she's just...
And it'll be interesting as to... beautiful shot there from Donlan. Whether or not they opt to maybe give M. Stewart... it is Donlan going to the bench and Lavis coming on as goal shooter. So that moving circle...
I think, in essence, it also gives them a break because Lavis will come out and almost swing into that goal attack role at times anyway.
Davis to Ryan. She's off balance, but Kennedy laughing at her a little bit there. Puts them under pressure and more.
She waited and waited. Final second.
26 plays.
Almost willing that ball to come to her, and it did. So
on the Cavalier home scoreboard. House, great break from her on the line and gives off to Prentice. Lavis with her first touch of this A-grade game. She took the court in the 17s earlier today. Instrumental in their big win over
Wangaratta
Magpies, as Lavis can't quite connect with her first goal. And Ryan and Davis, just that movement transition has really upped in pace. And there's a contact deep in the attacking end from House. Allen and Moore, clever pass and a great finish. 27 plays 22 on the Cavalier home scoreboard. Would have been interesting last week in the Yarrawonga and Panthers game had Moore been able to stay on court just that little bit longer. We can just see how her experience under
the
that
confidence of the team. She just has that.
Yeah.
I mean, even on the sideline, you get a great feeling when she's on the court, let alone if you're a teammate.
From where we're standing, Eliza Mooney being taken over to warm up, which, maybe just to change up what Moore's influence has been there and stop those high balls going in.
Her reach, even just her reach over the shot, any rebounds, but it'll stop those big balls coming in over the head.
Ryan giving away the contact. 5 minutes have been played here in this third quarter. Well done from Kennedy coming around.
And I think you have to try it. There's a bit of a break here. They've got momentum. There's no second chances.
That's exactly right. And team that's got nothing to lose. Either team, really. Stewart. Lavis does well and very close to 3 seconds, but a really strong rebound from Stewart.
Her aerial ability is so underestimated. She's got such a great jump.
Yeah, she really does. She's a great athlete.
And last week we saw just the beauty in her defensive pressure. She caused a couple of turnovers, particularly as that game got really close, which was a real credit to her. It was very Helen Housby-like.
Yes, I remember you made that comment. It's very true.
So we see Eliza Mooney enter here for the Raiders to goalkeeper Molly Goldsworthy to the bench.
Davis, clever play there just to stop and pop to Allen. House gets a hand on it, and it has just changed up how they play, but it doesn't matter to Moore and Allen. And Maddie Allen netting the 29th goal here for the Pigeons. 29 plays 23 on the Cavalier home scoreboard. Symes running with Lavis, but letting her go for that ball and now really putting the pressure on to let her into the circle. So that movement between the shooters isn't... That is a brilliant take by Laura Davis. How she did not end up in that circle with her feet.
She did well, didn't she?
She did so well. And again, just the attacking ability. Sends one a little bit too much. She'd been involved in everything, and Davis and Moore having a little bit of a giggle. So it's great to see that the Pigeons girls are really enjoying it out there.
Yes.
Raiders, Prentice, bit quieter this quarter, and there's Davis again offline, coming through, and a better paced ball there to Moore, who converts 30, plays 23 here on the Cavalier home scoreboard.
And in games like this, it really is the turnovers that the mid-quarters can create that can go such a long way.
So Prentice just going to the bench here, and Goldsworthy going to go to wing defence. So opting for a different lineup here.
And Allen fading there, gives off to Davis. To Ryan. Davis pops out, high ball into the pocket to Kennedy. Allen. And Mooney, beautiful two-handed take there. House. Ryan stepping up and just taking on The aerial ball. House to St John.
I was talking to Hannah Symes the other week, and she was talking about playing on Mia Lavis, and she said she's really difficult to play on because she moves so much. It's so hard to know whether to go with her, whether to stay back.
Raiders. Stewart opts not to use Lavis, but go to St John. Ryan, contact call. Low ball goes to Stewart, who turns and can't quite pop this one through, but the obstruction call was made first.
Stewart not able to pull it in.
And Davis does it again.
Been watching the Matildas.
I was going to say, it's Matilda inspired. Wrong game laws, and that'll be a penalty with Wodonga inside for offside first. So Lavis takes the shot.
Great hold by Symes. And Lavis connects 30, plays 24 here. Raiders centre pass to come. Women's sport in Australia at the moment.
Huge.
Regionally, Australia-wide is just in such a great place. Lavis lines up again. Symes, the jump. Nice swish goal. We're back to 5. 30 plays 25 here. Kennedy left for that centre pass, and St John and Kennedy.
Great release by Davis. Quickly to Kennedy in the pocket.
Goldsworthy coming through. So Davis is just stepping up the penalty.
And you can see there Davis looked to go to more in the backspace, but Mooney was just hovering.
Alan nearly just go in. St John and Ryan, you can just see she's just added that extra bit of intensity on the centre pass coming through to House. St John there rips the ball so that it can't be anything but her possession. Lavis nice and strong. Leslie attempts the jump, but a little bit too close. 31 plays 26. Kennedy out to Moore. Allen getting in, and good option there, Moore, not to give it to Kennedy, but
screen by
to Allen. But Allen just really dictating the play there. 32 plays 26. St John centre pass to Stewart. Lavis coming out at a mile of pace there through the centre. Very close to held there, but Stewart reefs it in, turns and shoots 27.
I feel like Stewart and Lavis have settled into their combination a little bit quicker this week than we saw last week.
Into the final 5 minutes of this third quarter. Kennedy looks to step on, but there's nothing there. She teams up with Ryan. Davis again, Goldsworthy. Doing a great job, but the contact
just riding her like a glove, and that's probably the difference in the way that Goldsworthy and Prentice play. Prentice will just sit off and play that space and probably go for the fly a bit more. Goldsworthy will just ride her.
Moore generating the contact and netting the goal. 33. The lead to the Pigeons. Raiders trailing on 27.
And it's good to see Till just absorb that change, because I know when that change was made in our Myrtleford game a couple of weeks ago, it is running through your head as a wing attack. They're two completely different wing defences.
Yes.
And you would know that as a wing attack, just having to then think. And we saw that in your game as well, even the likes of Eliza Mooney coming on, and Soph had to really change what she was doing in there. 28 goals to the Raiders, still trailing the Pigeons 5 goals the margin here on the Cavalier Homes.
You can see there Tilly going to go to the back space, but Molly's got that covered, so it's forcing Yarrawonga to go another option. Kennedy off the circle, Davis off the circle.
Raiders just really putting the pressure on. Moore
Forcing
trying to
them
find the
back.
space behind Mooney.
And there'll be a penalty. House just with the arm around Ryan there, so Davis.
Credit to Eliza Mooney as well. She's just played goal shooter in the under-17s competition and to come on as goalkeeper and do so, again, seamlessly is a credit to her. And
such an underrated player.
Only 16 years old. 34 plays 28 here. Great. Centre pass received there from Blaney House. Davis still coming through.
Yeah, so she's 17, Reece. So
she's already turned 17.
So she'll go up next year. But such an underrated
Stewart
player.
Was under the post, pretty much home alone there, and the crowd were willing the ball in, but it wasn't seen. But it doesn't matter. The ball gets in there, and the goal is shot. 34 plays 29,
and probably is often overshadowed by Mia. Mia, rightly so, playing in that side. But Eliza just, as you said, plays both ends so well.
Too much on that. Allen goes for the rebound, and Raiders have the attempt now to just bring it one back.
Fun fact, Eliza, a very accomplished dancer as well.
Oh.
To other, I think.
Now that you say that, she kind of looks like
yeah,
a dancer.
Yeah, she does.
Beautiful long legs.
Gracious.
Yeah, so I think as
Ryan
her dancing
saw
as
it.
she is her netball. So there you go.
Ryan stood out of play into the final 2 minutes of this third quarter. Blaney House, long ball to Lavis coming out on the side.
And Ryan
closest to
did
us.
well to stop that, but just contacting at the last minute there, I think. So House.
Symes really keeping Lavis busy at the moment, and Stewart opts to go out. Leslie trying to fade around. Symes jumps. And M. Stewart, a beautiful goal there. Back to 4. 34 plays 30 here, and it's a Raiders centre pass to come. Plenty of time left in this third quarter. Allen, I reckon, could have had a little stab at that ball, but Goldsworthy does well and transitions the ball nicely to House. Lavis coming out of the circle again. Stewart being kept really busy by the footwork of Leslie, and then finds the space opening up.
Oh, beautiful goal to finish off there by Em Stewart.
Back to 3. 34 plays 31 here. Pigeons with the centre pass. Davis to Kennedy. High ball into Allen. House's eyes very much down. Allen, quick play. And into the shade for more, but great rebound from Eliza Mooney. Davis trying to turn it over. We're into the last minute of this third quarter. House, St. John to House. Davis again having a stab. St. John to House. Stewart coming around. Ball out in front. It's off the hands of Leslie. Can the Raiders nail this attacking play to bring it back to 2? House puts the ball, and the space opens up for Lavis, who makes no doubt. 34 plays 32 here.
And Rhea, I don't know if it opens up or she creates it. You just watch her there, how she manages to create the space when there seems to be none is
obstruction
amazing.
Call, slowing this play down, and time has been called. Emily Stewart presents. You can hear the calls of no goal. Lavis sinks it. We are back to 1. 34 plays 33 here, not far. And time has been called.
And they will hold time every time the ball is loose here.
As Yarra looked to sink a quick goal before three-quarter time. Davis, rocket ball, and there is time for three-quarter time. We have a final quarter in this preliminary final coming up. 34, the lead to the Pigeons, playing the Raiders 33. This is O&M Live Netball. We will be back after the break.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where students come first. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a crumbed barramundi fillet served with chips and dill hollandaise from just $22. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SS&A.
Recognise this face? I've been in more beer ads than anyone else, and all I'm told to do is smile, sip and laugh a bit.
0.0% alcohol.
This changes everything.
I can swim! I can upgrade heavy machinery! I can actually drive! Onward, beer drinkers!
Rewrite the rules. Carlton 0.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between, manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
At 2AY, we're your home of live sport. Every weekend, we bring you the best live broadcasts of the Ovens and Murray football and netball. Listen this weekend on your radio or the 2AY app.
I'm shocked.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball. The preliminary final is going to go down to the wire. Pigeons with the 1 goal. Pigeons with the 1 goal advantage, 34 plays 33. It looked like early in that third quarter that they were just going to really push away. But again, the Raiders just are not going anywhere.
Yeah. And they've done this week after week, haven't they?
And it is a Raiders centre pass to start. On court, Raiders have remained with the 7 that finished that third quarter. For the Pigeons, the only change on court, Maddie Allen having a rest on the bench and Myla Kennedy re-entering this court onto goal attack. Oh, Kylie Leslie with a touch early. Stood out. Bomb from Lavis.
She's here to play.
Takes us to even fourth quarter action thanks to Martin's group, Albury.
Myla Kennedy off the line, finds Davis. Back to Ryan. They're forced to go to the transverse. Tilly Kennedy has to go to Davis in the pocket. Both shooters stuck behind the defenders, and eventually they find Myla Kennedy on the baseline. And she can't sink it, but there's a contact call, and Moore will take the shot. So Mooney with the definite height advantage down there now for the Raiders as Yarrawonga take a 35-34 goal lead here in the fourth quarter.
And I guess that's the benefit of having someone so experienced like Sarah Moore sitting back in goal shooter. She'll just be saying to Myla Kennedy to make sure that she comes front to really treasure present. But there's actually no pressure there at all, just to play as naturally as possible. As Lavis talking about natural play, but can't quite shoot it, and contested rebound goes with Lavis and two hands, and it goes to Symes.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen
and Ryan off balance there. Gives back to Symes. Davis doing a lot of work through that mid-court. And Raiders again have just upped the pressure here and stopped that real drive of Kennedy and Ryan connecting.
And I think
Davis, very close there. She looked 3 times. The low ball into Moore, who steps through and steps up and takes the Pigeons out to 36 plays 34 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
And I understand Mia's off to Melbourne for the next couple of days for Vic Institute of Sport induction program. So she's got a busy week ahead of her in front of her grand final and on Sunday for the 17 and under. And whatever happens here, we'll see.
Fading defence there from Goldsworthy. The ball comes off her and it is Kennedy to Kennedy. Ryan to Davis, just using that reset to give themselves a little bit more space. Contact. This will be a great tussle in this last quarter, Tilly Kennedy and Goldsworthy. The Myla Kennedy just telling sister Tilly.
Get over there where the umpire.
How would you go on court with your sisters?
My sister and I are very lucky we play the same position because I don't think it would work.
As St John gets us underway. House. Lavis. Oh, and Kennedy tries her best to stay offside, but can't quite. Blaney House very high in that attacking third. Uses the line. St John absorbs the contest there from Davis. Oh, Symes coming through, but Lavis again nice and strong.
Well weighted by House there to wait for someone to come forward and not force that pass. And they're going to have to play patient and smart here, both sides.
Kennedy and Davis teaming up again, and well-weighted ball there from Davis, just over Goldsworthy. More Kennedy to Kennedy.
To Kennedy. Back to Kennedy. And
it just bounces out. Mooney not having to throw it in because the ball remained on court, and uses the transition. Goldsworthy finding Stewart. So great transition play there from the Raiders.
Yeah, finding good space. Interesting, today's game we've seen a lot more space than we did last Saturday in that Lavington-Yarrawonga game, and even in last Sunday's Yarrawonga and Raiders game. It's probably been the most open game.
4 minutes played here in this fourth quarter on the Cavalier Homes time clock, and we've got one goal. Oh, Kennedy and House both juggling with the ball. Lavis coming out at the top. Stewart coming out on the angle. Oh, clever front position and roll there from Lavis. Back to level 37 apiece, and we are back on centre pass. Pigeons. Kennedy to Kennedy.
Oh, and Mooney thought about going hunting. Just a second too slow. I can't even speak.
St John steps up, and it's House to receive the centre pass. Stewart comes through. Lavis Ryan takes a stab. St John. Oh, and the hands of Davis again just shut it. Whoa.
Oh, Goldsworthy. Strong take.
Kennedy's slow to get up. Takes a big breath.
Strong take.
And Symes. And clever from Hannah Symes there. Just put enough doubt in that passer's mind as we've gone 5 minutes. And Goldsworthy again with another touch off the ball. So these last quarter, it's hot out there. Blaney House gives off to Lavis. St John, great double dodge there to get. Oh, and a held ball.
Symes just did enough without obstructing.
And St John threw her hands up in the air there. I don't think she agreed with that, but it doesn't matter because the Pigeons are on the attack more. Gives back to Ryan to Kennedy. Goldsworthy stepping back and opts not to put her hands up. Mooney doing her best around the body of Moore, but doesn't worry. Sarah Moore, 39, plays 37 here, and it's a Pigeon centre pass. Davis to Kennedy, back to Davis. Myla Kennedy opts to go down to Ryan. Clever play. And they're forced back. So clever defence from the Raiders, and Moore talks to the
telling them to go back. They don't listen.
Kennedy and Davis just playing. More clever play. Mooney steps back. And that's just the craftiness of Sarah Moore in that goal circle. 40 plays, 37. Time is called here. Umpire Norell just cautioning players, all players on court, that the ball needs to come back really quickly. No delay in play as Symes really upped her defence there on Lavis, stopping her from being an option. Oh, Symes did really well, but Lavis just found enough space and pulls it in and connects. So 40 plays 38 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
Well covered there by Raiders on Tilly Kennedy, forced them to go back.
There's that 1 second release from the Pigeons. More.
Oh, beautiful move.
Finding space under the post. Falls out, and Mooney, those long arms, able to rebound that for the Raiders.
Can the Raiders convert here? Oh, Tilly Kennedy. It's a contact call. She did well not to go offside there.
But had to lean on the player in doing so. So Raiders with the opportunity to go forward here. St John asking for someone to come through her. She's forced to go back to Mooney, and eventually House comes through the middle. Goes to Sister Blaney.
Ryan came through, and Symes was coming through like a steam train down the other end in front of Lavis where that ball was going. We are halfway through this final quarter. It is a 2-goal lead to the Pigeons. Ryan hedged the space, but just ball falling short in front of her, and Davis aiming to do the same. Stewart holding strong in front of Symes. Opts not to shoot and go to the pocket. And Kylie Leslie stood out of play for a contact as Lavis was moving. She shoots it and scores. 40 plays 39 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard. Fourth quarter, thanks to Martin's Group, Albury. Can the Raiders get the leveller here and put us back on centre pass? Lavis does well there and waits for House.
And that's a stronger drive by Blaney House. We've seen that a bit better today, and drawing the contact.
And credit
Whereas
to...
I think when she stops and just stands, she's not going to get those calls.
Credit to her and Maggie St John. We haven't seen any of that sideways play today, which they fell into in the latter stages against Myrtleford. And we are even 40 goals apiece here in this preliminary final. Panthers are at the other end of next week's grand final, waiting for today's victor.
I don't
Davis.
know how Jodie's still got hair.
No.
After the past 3 weeks of this team.
Or
oh my
nails.
God.
She sat through an extra time. She coaches at 15s. That was a draw this morning.
Oh,
so she's
clever by Moore there not to pop the pass into Kennedy. I think just
she'll be heading straight for the Secco 10 after this live.
And Mooney getting a hand on it for
well
a
deserved.
Pigeons throw in. Davis looks to Kennedy, gives back to Davis.
Forced to go over the circle to Kennedy, and Moore presents front. Steps in,
and the contact
just on
from
the
House.
land. Yeah.
And in these late stages, they don't want to be giving too many of those away, because more creeping forward for a shot is always dangerous. Lavis, Ryan, Kennedy in support. Great play. Great
Ryan
red
just
from
had
Ryan.
the time to hang in the air and see where her players were.
And sister Myla Kennedy opting to go the reset. Mackenzie House getting a hand. All right, so the Pigeons can't convert that turnover. They do have the 1-goal lead. Myla Kennedy doing her best there to hustle up.
Huge crowd here for the late
And it'll be really
stages of
interesting
this
in
game.
the next 5 minutes as we head into the final 5 minutes of this fourth quarter, what this crowd can do. Liv, I know in that last 5 minutes of your game, I'm already getting goosebumps.
I couldn't hear the crowd because I couldn't hear over my own screaming.
As Ryan on the sideline opts to go back to Symes, and they double play. Kennedy coming through, but it goes to Leslie. Davis to Kennedy, out in space.
Oh, she looked, but she also saw Mooney coming in, I think. Went for the safe option.
Oh, and St John again, just getting those hands out at the right time. House to House. Lavis coming out on the tight angle. Symes stepping up.
Oh, Lavis home alone.
And connects. Even we are. 41 apiece here. Pigeons centre pass to come. Kennedy. Moore coming out. Mooney contests. A high ball into Kennedy, and a great play there from Kennedy back to Davis. She turns, and a beautiful shot there from Myla Kennedy.
And the spin she pops on that ball. Unbelievable.
42 plays 41 here. 4 minutes to play in this fourth quarter of the prelim final. Kennedy.
Kennedy's on the end of it.
And Ryan again, just really getting her hand in the play. She's come on. More. Mooney just, beautiful take there. Watched it. Ryan.
Over the back of her.
Just needed to come that half a step around the body. 3.5 minutes left here in this fourth quarter. Lavis coming through. So is Davis. St John finds Stewart. And the touch again. Kylie Leslie slowing that ball down. The pass to Lavis. Symes, great 3 feet, but a great shot. 42 goals apiece here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
3 minutes.
3 minutes left on the Cavaliers time clock.
Glad it's them out there, not me.
Plenty of netball in it, and we were talking about off-air in the TDNL Grand Final yesterday. It ebbed and flowed, and apparently it was in those final 2 minutes that the score was won. And Kennedy.
The confidence, I love it.
It's great, isn't it?
Absolutely fantastic. 43 plays 42 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
Davis pleading with the umpire.
Lavis The obstruction, hands before, I think, was the call there. 43 apiece here.
Goal.
Quarter action. Oh, Ryan, and you hear the crowd, everyone just go, oh, Kennedy to Ryan. Leslie pops it over to Ryan.
Raiders calling for defenders.
Kennedy
Step up.
to Moore, to Davis, back to Moore. We have a time call for a missing bib as Moore steps up and nets it. 44, plays 43 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
And this is where, as defenders, you just want to do your best to not get a call.
Yep. Stay in play.
And
Coach
it
Killer.
goes the other way. It's the breaking call against M. Stewart. So Leslie did her best there to stay on the line, as you were talking about that, Liv. Davis to Ryan, and Raiders just need to really hustle here and do all they can. House does her best to rectify it, but so does Ryan.
And Davis.
And it's the obstruction call first. The umpire just setting the penalty here. House. St. John, long ball to Lavis on the drive. Opts for the pop to House at the top. Lavis on home alone on the baseline. And connects 44 apiece.
And I reckon we've got a minute to go, Ree.
Yeah, my clock's reading
and
very
the bench
similar.
is up. Raiders bench is up and
Are
about.
we going to extra time
I
here?
said we were at the start. Let's see.
More steps forward. Will Yarra happily play it around to work down some of this time. Davis and Moore to Kennedy.
Kennedy, the 14-year-old.
Look.
With the rebound and the clever pass there. Well done from Kennedy to Moore. Steps in, 45 plays, 44, 30 seconds to go here. What can the Pigeons do? Lavis, Symes, and there's an obstruction call outside.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. I think we are going into extra time.
I do too.
Lavis nails it, 45 apiece here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
10 seconds.
Kennedy needs
got to get it in. More needs to drop. They get it under post.
Get it down.
Got to go in. They're calling.
And there is time. We are going into extra time in this preliminary final.
I hate to say I called it. That was in my tips to Pandora.
I'm so glad Trav went and got the second.
Good preempting from the
Jodie House
team.
is going to kill me.
So, Tamara Matthews, we now play 5 minutes each.
So they'll have a 2-minute break here where they can make changes and coach. There will then be 5 minutes each end. At the end of the first 5 minutes, there's no changes, no coaching. It's a straight swap. At the end of the second 5, if it's still even, they continue to play
until someone's ahead by 2.
They just keep playing till we got a 2 goal.
Do you know what else I'm glad I'm not doing? The scoring.
Yeah, timing. Yeah, so timing's way worse.
Although our clocks are right this quarter, so much better. But
I was on the time clocks in the 15s. It was nerve-wracking, and you feel like every eye is on you.
Everyone's like, how many times?
Anyway, what do they? I think they have to stick with what they've got out there, don't they?
Yeah,
I would think so.
Yep.
I think both coaches need to have confidence and just let it play out. It would be interesting. Yeah, I just don't think any fresh legs. I think with the momentum of how the game's going, I think they just need to trust in what's happening.
Kicks in.
And I think extra time comes down to mental.
Yeah.
Composure and attention and decision-making.
And we look at the C grade last week. Goal for goal for goal. Went into extra time and Myrtleford kind of went bang, bang, bang really early and just kept it that way, as we saw.
It's often
Pigeons again in that fourth quarter really started again, but Raiders, credit to them, they just are not going away.
No.
Right, well.
I'm like still just taking it all in.
A bit breathy as well. Great to see, and the poor B graders having to now wait just that little bit longer to start their game. But it has been a final series so far. I have said it's one for the ages. A couple of really close games, and definitely...
It's just been the tightest A-grade competition this year that I think we've seen in at least 15 years. I can't remember a time where it hasn't been dominated by 1 or 2 clubs, where we've seen really... It could be any of the top 5, and I just think that is so great. Raiders finished, 4th in the end, and they've come through, and here they are in extra time playing to go into a grand final. I mean, Lavington have gone in from 3rd.
Umpire calls the whistle for time, so extra time here in this preliminary final. Whoever wins this gets the opportunity to take on Panthers. And you know what? I think a game like this is so positive for whoever wins going in against Panthers next week. Like just the ferociousness, the intensity, the cleanness, the speed, like everything. And in these conditions as well, that's a little bit of a leg up in that instance. And it will be a Raiders centre pass to start. Umpires calling time. And St John finds Lavis to start. And a contact call.
And I was just going to say, Eliza Mooney and Mia Lavis, last year played in a couple of finals in extra time. So this won't be unfamiliar territory for either of those
Kennedy coming over to Davis. And held on
well
to that
weighted,
just long enough. And more gets us underway.
Eliza and Mia are going into their seventh quarter for the day.
Yeah,
a lot of netball.
Yeah, well, I think Mia came off in the last for the 17s.
Kennedy. Well, that was so great. Such great mentoring there from Moore. Just saying, no, you're right. Yeah. You're right. And St John again to Stewart, to House. It is going to be really hard to choose a player of the day as well, because everyone has played a role on court. Technically, we do.
Yeah.
St John to Lavis, to House. And a fumble there. Just, can they convert here? As Leslie to Ryan finds Kennedy through the midcourt to Ryan again.
I think Ryan's injection has been, been wonderful.
Yeah,
in this second half of the game.
Knew her role. And too much on that. Pressure coming for both teams. A minute and a half already played in this first time period of extra time. Kennedy, well done there to go for Mooney. Ryan and Davis making the swap here, but coming back onto players. Lavis coming out of that circle as she's done since her injection on court. House forced to look sideways to St John. Lavis, well done from Symes there to just keep her hand up, knowing she had the distance. Davis with hands up over St John. House finding some space in that pocket. Lavis quick to jump in and connects.
Do you know the other thing that is so exciting for our league is the composure at which you have a Eliza Mooney, a Mia Lavis, a Mila Kennedy, a Kalisha Pearl. These kids who are coming up from 17, stepping onto an A-grade court, the composure at which they play and the way they level of netball
certainly putting the competition in really good hands, because I did mention to the other week that in probably the next 5 years there will be a few players that will drop back either through pregnancy or opting not to play anymore and those sorts of things, as Kennedy.
And I think we've seen it across almost every club where there's been players coming to A-grade this season from 17s and they have stepped up and just, played some brilliant netball. And I think it's really, really exciting.
Pigeons there had all four Raiders attackers in one little space. Lavis quick with the refeed to House. Leslie's just stepped up. Symes gets a hand but not the body around, so Lavis steps up and nails it. 48 plays, 47 here in this extra time. Ryan
plenty
undefended.
Of space.
Kennedy to Kennedy. Back to Kennedy.
Yeah, her give and goes today.
Opts for the bounce pass. Gives Mila Kennedy all space in front, but more. You can hear the crowd willing everyone to get that ball, and Mila Kennedy coming through.
And a contact call.
At the top of the circle.
I think it was offside.
Offside, was it?
So the Raiders, can they transition this and get the shot? We are back to even. And a contact call going the other way. Molly Goldsworthy shaking her head, doesn't agree with that call.
We said Kennedy, that was a great contest, didn't we, Kennedy and Goldsworthy?
Mila Kennedy just all alone. Beautiful
shot. What do
shot.
they say? Ice in your veins?
Yes. I've got goosebumps.
A minute to go
in this first period of extra time, so we will have a swap of ends. And then, Kennedy nearly got a touch on it.
Millimetres away.
St John, Stewart did well to pull that in and connects. 49 plays, 48 here, 40 seconds in this first period of extra time. Davis has to go cross to Ryan, who finds Kennedy coming through.
How does she manage that?
She did so well off balance there. Beautiful. And just Davis and more taking a second, and they are out to 250 plays 48 here. 20 seconds to go. Can Raiders connect with goal and keep within one?
I'm not
They've
sure.
They've taken their centre pass, so it'll be a Pigeons centre pass.
Yeah.
Should
15
Raiders
seconds.
not get there. Lavis gives off to House.
Need to get it in.
Gives to
Take the
Stewart.
shot.
Oh, opts the
Smart.
pass. And the shot is good. I don't think the Pigeons will have enough time to take their centre pass, and they don't. So time is blown here. We have a 1-goal game, and it is a Pigeon centre pass to start.
And I reckon
this second
Sean,
period of
umpire
extra
Sean,
time.
will be very happy that he's sitting on the shade side just quietly. Well played, Sean.
And time is blown. So first centre pass of the second period of extra time is the Pigeons. Kennedy, instructed by Ryan to come back to me more, double plays that ball, the slash arm to get in front of Mooney. Uses it again, and Kennedy,
beautiful play.
Great play, finds the baseline and finds the goal. 51 plays 49 here. St John to House. And that looked like it might have gone to a Pigeon play there. Lavis is very, very far away from circle. Leslie, she saw it. And Lavis has to juggle it. That was great play from Guiley Leslie, but a great shot from Mia Lavis. 45 seconds have been played in this second period of extra time. Davis to Leslie.
Yarrawonga forced to go back. Really being held up here.
Beautiful play there from Myla Kennedy. But can't quite drop. That was one of those plays that just deserved a goal to finish.
And Moore needs to get around Myla Kennedy here. There's 4 minutes left to play.
There is plenty of time left in this extra time. We are back to even, and it is a Raiders centre pass to come. Raiders been in this position all final series, nothing to lose. House, Stewart stepping through, uses the reset. Leslie coming off, Lavis is in front, uses the circle and comes through, steps it in. Symes comes through to make the 3 feet. The crowd protest. And
Big
Lavis
Raiders
drops
crowd.
it in. Raiders back in front, 52 plays 51. What can the Pigeons do? Kennedy finds Moore. Finds Kennedy. Kennedy using the baseline to her advantage there. Comes from off court. Opts for the reset ball to the line. Davis, Goldsworthy coming through.
And Moore presenting front. Turns. Mooney with the rebound.
Will that be the one that comes back? 2 minutes 10 have played in this second period of extra time. Ryan throwing everything at it. Mooney to House to Goldsworthy. St John to Lavis. Kennedy again. House to Stewart. St John opens it up in the pocket there. Blaney House to Lavis. Raiders having to play it around, so the Pigeons
and showing the patience that they have shown all final series as they do that.
And they are out 2-2, 53 plays 51. And it is a Raiders centre pass to come. House. St John to Lavis. Kennedy doing her best to get the turnover. House. And House. Ryan, contact call.
2 minutes to go. Is there enough time? They need a turnover here, Yarra, if they're to stay in it.
And Stewart. She hasn't shot a lot in this last quarter, but it doesn't matter. They're out to 3:54 plays 51. The bench are up.
The crowd are up. There's a big Raiders crowd here. 4
gives
teams
off
in
to
it
Myla
today.
Kennedy.
Great ball.
And the contact call going against Mooney. The experience of Moore steps up.
She knows
it's
it's not
short,
long.
but she knows there is not long. And the contact call under the ring. So 52 plays 54. Yarrawonga really need a stop here in this centre pass if they are to close this deficit.
There it is.
And it's come off Ryan's shoulder. Her eyes were not up, so it'll be Goldsworthy. House to House. St John, she's run all day.
A minute to go. They
Davis.
just need to look after it and protect it here.
And Stewart. She's been great again today, just consistent. And
I reckon that's
it is
it,
the Raiders
Ree. I reckon
going
that's a
through
sealer.
to play Panthers next week. They are out 2-3, 55 plays 52, 40 seconds to go here. Kennedy to Kennedy to Kennedy. They can't afford to play it around too much. There is not enough time left. Kennedy
Fantastic shot.
53 into the last 25
This
seconds.
crowd is going to
this
erupt,
quarter.
Ree, and Liv. It is huge.
Oh, yep, that is.
It will be the third team through for the Raiders.
Oh, and Ryan tries to clinch it into the final.
15s and 17s have gone through. It will be massive.
And there is time. Wow.
The Wodonga Raiders through to the grand final.
What a preliminary final. And because of our extra time, we actually have to wrap up our broadcast a lot sooner. But Raiders, they just chipped and chipped and chipped all day. Yarrawonga will be really disappointed to go out in straight steps, but it'll be the Raiders to take on the Lavington Panthers next week in the grand final. And I think a game like today has put them in the best position and the fighting chance to go into that. And I think credit to both Laura Irvine and Jodie House for the way they coached today's game out. And a credit to all the players. A big thanks to Liv Laspina for joining us on the broadcast
Special
today.
comments for remembering to pop across.
Tamara Matthews, as always, thank you. I'm Rhiannon Harris. This is O&M Live Netball, and on O&M Live, you...
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where students come first. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a crumbed barramundi fillet served with chips and dill hollandaise from just $22. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SS&A.
Recognise this face? I've been in more beer ads than anyone else, and all I'm told to do is smile, sip and laugh a bit.
0.0% alcohol.
This changes everything.
I can swim! I can upgrade heavy machinery! I can